Welcome back to another episode of the Holocore. Today, we return to an artifact topic we discussed some time ago. A Holocore file we've now deemed out of date, as more information and facts surrounding its history have been brought to our attention. With the help of the priests of Netherlight Temple and the High Priest himself, we've decided to revisit the file of one particularly insidious weapon and tell the story of its mysterious and dangerous history as best as we can. Today's revisited file: Xal'atath, Blade of the Black Empire.
Insidious? Such a tactless and boring description, don't you agree? So these Dallaranian mortals seek to unravel the mysteries of my story. The idea would almost be insulting if I wasn't aware that a certain high priest wasn't involved in the forfeiting of such information. Nevertheless, I don't get many chances to talk to an audience as a whole, so why not indulge these Lost Codex storytellers? They can thank me later. Ah, a Titan device. How wonderfully easy to manipulate. My story starts during the Age of the Black Empire, something you mortals know so little about. Oh, the images I could show you, the horrors that you would witness. Perhaps I could show you endless battles my brethren waged against one another. Or perhaps I could show you my origins of how I came to be. Oh, but why give away all the answers when there's so much more to come? And oh, so soon. Instead, why don't I show you the roles I've played throughout the last several thousand years, I could go on for hours about each of the civilizations I've visited and twisted. But let's focus on a rather memorable target: the trolls. Easy to manipulate and dim-witted, trolls played a beautiful part in the return of the minions of the Black Empire. The troll in question was a Gurubashi named Zando, a witch doctor who had been ousted from his high position of power by the leaders of the Gurubashi. His rage was oh so sweet and oh so easily twisted. At my encouragement, Zando and a few of his fellow slighted witch doctors ventured out to a sacred site that was forbidden by the mystics of the Gurubashi and conducted a series of blood sacrifices. Zando believed these sacrifices would allow him to tap into the power of the sacred site. Instead, he awoke an ancient ally, a minion of Yogg-Saron, a Naraki named Kithix. Kithix brought the shadows of the Black Empire over the land and rallied the scattered minions of the old gods, which started the events I believe you mortals call the Akir and Troll Wars. In Kithix's possession, my true potential was unleashed, and for a moment, I was allowed the sweet taste of devastation. I inflicted and spread pestilence throughout the troll tribes, and showered their minds with black visions of death. Kithix's war may have been brought to an end by the trolls sooner than expected, but the devastation I caused? Oh, how the stories and legends of a little black blade that nearly wiped out their entire civilization. It's a moment in history I'm rather proud of. Let's fast forward to another exciting moment in my adventure: the War of the Three Hammers. The hero of this moment in history is Maudgood, wife of sorcerer Thane Thorson. As a practitioner of the arcane, Maudgood often searched for artifacts and relics of great power, and as you can imagine, It didn't end well for her. I was delivered into her hands by a servant, and the power I let her taste, well... Modgood tapped into my power and learned much of what I had to offer. She demonstrated her new control over the shadows during the siege of Grim Batol, the legendary battle between the Wildhammer and the Dark Irons. It was because of her, or rather, the magic I taught her, that Grim Batol fell under the dark curse that forced the Wildhammers to later abandon it after the war. After casting the dark incantation, the Wildhammer Thane closed in on her location. Poor Modgood. She sought to use me and the powers I gave her to strike down Thane Cardros and end the battle. But instead, she found I had suddenly just vanished. Oh, how she screamed when she realized I had abandoned her. Though whether it was from frustration or terror, well, I care not. All I care to remember is her broken words as she lay dying. You promised. You promised. How many of you here have heard of Natalie Celine? Any practitioner of the shadow should know this name. Natalie was a rather fun subject of mine, and far more clever than most of my wielders. She was a bishop during the time you mortals call the First War, and in her righteous crusade to stop the Orcish menace, she stumbled across me. Though she had set out to find and destroy me when she learned of my existence, her mind hesitated the moment she touched my blade. She wanted to understand me before she destroyed me. A noble effort, to say the least. But in her search for knowledge, she found the truth. I taught her that there was more to this world than the light. For how could the light exist without the void? And she dedicated herself to understanding what I offered. She spread what she learned to her fellow clerics and priests, teaching them of what lay beyond the veil of the light. These teachings would become the pillars for the cult of the Forgotten Shadow. In her sermons, she urged caution in their new practice, warning them that the powers of the void were as unforgiving as they were enticing. What was truly unforgiving was the suspicion that spread through her followers. All it took was a little coaxing and suggestion that Natalie was holding them back, and mutiny. Although I admit Natalie's caution limited much of my potential, I did underestimate how much she had learned from me. It seems that when faced with the realization that her followers were plotting her assassination, Natalie took it upon herself to ensure her survival by whisking her spirit to the realm of the void, to a location known only to her. She left behind instructions on how to retrieve her spirit, thus allowing her eventual return to the realm of the living. That was something I hadn't foreseen, nor anticipated. Clever girl. Natalie's teachings and journals had not lain undetected by the brilliant and clever minds of the Kirin Tor. After her apparent death, the mages of Dalaran set off to scour her teachings and writings from history. They also set out to find me, but just as they were unable to erase Natalie's teachings from the world, so too were they unable to track me down. Oh, I had no intention of being found by the ever-persistent minds of mages. No, I had other plans, other minds to twist, and more pawns to play with. But those are a tale for another time. I'm sure the keepers of the Lost Codex are eager to reclaim their Holocore. are you really still here? Why? Mortals. I suppose your thirst for knowledge knows no bounds, Well, if you insist, why not check out some of these past episodes? If you're so interested in the origins of the usurpers, or the benevolent and pure Naru, watch the lecture on the left. If you rather learn about the Black Empire, even these Lost Codex keepers forgot to mention my involvement. Watch the lecture on the right. I'm sure it's exciting.